One of, if not the hardest online business model out there. What did it take to succeed? Completely changed who I am as a person, how I operate in day-to-day life to the core, the way I have relationships, the way I interact with everything around me. Completely changed. A 180 from who I was before to who I am now, all just to become profitable and to succeed on the charts and trading. Things that seem completely unrelated. Why does it matter what I'm doing really day to day, or the way I'm carrying myself? Why do these things have anything to do with how I'm trading on the charts? Just because trading is that difficult, you have to change psychologically to that extent just to achieve success. Because who you are outside the markets is the same person you're going to be inside the markets. If you're even slightly inconsistent in random things in your day-to-day life, eventually that's going to show up in the markets, right? When we're here, we have way more dopamine going into things. The chance to make thousands in a couple seconds if you over leveraged. There's so much going on here that if you're not disciplined in day-to-day life when it's easy, how are you going to be disciplined on the charts when it's way more difficult? So we have a situation where you need to do all these things to the highest level possible, right, that you can actually carry out. And yet, when I look online in the trading scene, we see people watching Brainrot, creating Brainrot about trading, pretending to be profitable in comment sections to people they don't even know. So much ego involved. Think about, why would someone even be doing that? It's all purely from ego. They want to feel good or convince themselves, yeah, I'm actually doing well in this trading thing, and almost hide from the truth. People can't accept just being bad at something. And with trading, if you can't accept that, it's impossible to improve. And I'll show you why right here with an explanation. So when you're trying to become profitable in the first place, there's a couple of things you need. First of all, obviously, the main goal is to have an edge where your equity curve over time is profitable, right? Whatever that looks like. Eventually, continuing to the upside. So this is a standard equity curve over time. Losses, wins, losing streaks, etc. can always happen, and that's generally what they tend to look like. When you need to achieve this to be profitable, it's impossible if you don't 100% follow your plan. Let's say you get to this stage. This is 2 weeks. You get to here in the equity curve. You have a bad day and you over leverage in your rent trade, and you come back down to minus 2%. Well, now, when you're trading from here, you have no idea what your stats should actually look like. Maybe if you carried on trading properly, over here you would have got to this stage and you would have made a mistake which caused minus 2%. You would have seen exactly what that mistake is, how it affects your trading, how it affects your edge, and you would have corrected it so that moving forward in the future, this doesn't happen again, and you continue this way to the upside. But when you're not honest with yourself, even if you make a single mistake, if you over leverage, if you revenge trade, you're straight back to zero, because profitable traders don't do that. Not once, no times do profitable traders do that. So you have to understand, if you're still doing stuff like this on a low level, you're not making progress. Now, the next part is, people like to make excuses and they can't be honest with themselves. I always say this, many times you have to get worse first to get better. What does that mean? A lot of people out here are passing funded accounts, maybe even getting funded, and they're very bad traders. They pass a funded account, they get funded, 2 trades. They over leveraged. It creates dopamine in their brain. They think they've done something good, and so it's training their brain to do these habits again. Rather than them moving closer to becoming profitable, when they think they've achieved their goal of getting funded, all they've actually done is trained their brain to have negative habits and make it harder to unwire those things and not do them again. Because now every time you're at the markets, your brain knows there's dopamine there. If you over leverage, if you revenge trade, you could pass an account. You get dopamine again, and you'll reinforce that habit. So again, negative cycles that people are operating out of. Now, I don't see anyone taking this stuff seriously. All I see when I'm looking at the industry for some reason is just people going through stupid things. Brain rot, content that isn't very serious, only watching things about technicals. As soon as something's not working, they blame the strategy and say it's not possible and this and that, and then they change to something else. Why? Ego again. It takes the blame off yourself. If the strategy isn't good, if the strategy isn't working, that's fine, because it's not you. You're not the problem. So keep going. It was just the markets, it was just the strategy, it wasn't you. It takes the blame off yourself. The brain doesn't want to take the blame, because then you feel bad, then you think, you're not good, you're not moving towards your goal. But you have to be honest with yourself to actually improve. Everywhere I look, it's just coping. Comment sections, videos, it's coping, making excuses for things, not being able to face reality. How is it going to be possible to become profitable if you're doing these things? It's low level habits, it's low frequency ways of thinking and acting. Those who create excuses, blame external factors, that is by definition low frequency way of acting and thinking. So for me, moving out of this stage, I used to be very much, I used to over leverage a lot. I used to over leverage a lot, revenge trade a lot at the start of my journey. And, I'll pass and blow many funded accounts. I'll constantly buy challenges because I have that dopamine addiction to buying challenges. These prop firms, they want you to have this. That's how you keep buying accounts with them and spending money. The prop firms exist to make money if you're profitable. Why are people buying prop firms when they're unprofitable? Again, it's a low frequency mindset. Why? Because they hope they will pass the account. They say, oh, this time it will be different. I'll pass, and this time I'll trade consistently and make money. Lo and behold, the exact same thing happens. Coping, they're lying to themselves. Low frequency. So you need to get away from all this. Get away from this side of trading. Trading, it's not really trading at all. It's just a loop of nonsense that's going on with people coping. So you need to get away from this, right? I'm going to explain how I did it myself. So the first thing was, I had to fully understand my own way of trading and stick to that no matter what. Now for me, I obviously have my own strategy. This is something I've traded since the beginning. It's developed over time. I haven't changed. And so I only see the markets in this one way. That's something very important because I don't have all this other stuff going on. I also knew that I was never going to change, which means there was no room for excuses. There was no, the strategy, I'm probably just going to, let's just change, this other thing might work. Oh, I see someone getting results with this, let's change. And so everything that happened that went wrong had to be fixed, not run away from. Don't run away from your problems, run away to something else, because you're going to reinforce that negative habit. It's going to be worse and worse and worse for you. It's more difficult for me to coach people who've been trading for 4 or 5 years than a beginner trader. Way more difficult. They have so much negative habits going on, reinforced into their mind, so many ways of seeing the markets that have all gone through these years of just constant random information, a lot of it all not good, and they're thinking through this clouded, blurred vision of knowledge that they shouldn't have every single time, habits that they've reinforced every single time. So especially if you're someone who's at the start of their journey or earlier on in the journey, you need to make sure you don't go and collect loads of nonsense information that clouds your vision. You need to be able to see the markets clearly and consistently. That takes choosing one method, whether it's mine, whether it's someone else's, it doesn't matter. It needs to be one method. You see the markets this way. When I go and do analysis and I have my own strategy, it's instant, it's automatic, fully subconscious, and I have it down to the highest level. I don't see the markets any other way now, and that's what makes it so easy. So once you get to that stage, of course, that's where you want to be at. Now, in terms of me unwiring the revenge trading, the over leveraging, I understood that this is what everyone is doing. All these people in the comments, all these people passing accounts, consistently blowing accounts, doing all this stuff, this is what they're doing, so they're not profitable. 97% failure rate, they're not profitable. I need to do the opposite of this. It was about 3-4 months into my trading journey, this clicked. I stopped doing the same thing everyone was doing. I focused on psychology, changing how my brain worked and functioned. Now, you can't just decide to change the default state without you even trying that your brain operates in. Just for 2 hours when you're trading in the markets, and then you go and live the rest of your life the same, and it doesn't really matter. Of course not. The way to do it, to actually change how your brain is wired, is everything needs to change in your day-to-day life. The way you act, carry yourself, the way you think, the things you do. It has to be separated from those things a normal person is constantly experiencing on a lower frequency, whether it be all the things in the emotions, insecurities, all this stuff that people act out of. Instead of just being themselves and living and doing what they want to do, they're living out a state of fear, maybe about the future. Oh, I need success, or this stuff's going wrong in the news. I need to run away from this stuff. Fear-based mindset is a low frequency. You don't need any of that. Secondly, 100% confidence in my future and what I would achieve, because then, once you know it's going to happen, you're no longer acting out of a state of fear in the markets. Oh, I hope these trades win. I hope this eventually works out. Hope. You don't want hope. You want certainty. You can only get certainty by following your own actions with 100% conviction and knowing that those are the right actions to take. What did that mean? Finding the correct information from people who are doing things the correct way. They've already done the journey, so they know the actions to take. Then I can also have 100% conviction in my actions because I know I'm doing things that have achieved success in the past. So I do both of those things. Thirdly, I stop following any nonsense information and I only focus on myself and what I'm doing. This meant following professionals in the industry, people who have worked in £1 million hedge funds on Wall Street, all this type of thing, following professionals. And most importantly for me, psychologists, learning the human psychology behind how the brain works, how it operates, why I think the things I do. I had to know why I turned up at the markets and I didn't want to revenge trade or over leverage because I know it's bad and I would still do it anyway. I had to know why that happened. Well, I felt fear about my future that I might not succeed. In the human brain, fear is made to protect us from danger. We're getting attacked by a savage beast. In the caveman days, we have fear, and fear creates an action. Because we don't want to die, we don't want to sit there doing nothing, we'll die. Fear creates an action. Defend ourselves, kill the beast, run away. Fear in the markets about your future, whether you'll succeed or not, whether this trade will win or lose, creates an action. Revenge trade, over leverage, force a trade, close a trade early. Fear creates an action. You have to understand these things. That's just one small factor, but there's so many psychological aspects in line with exactly that explain why you take the actions that you take in the markets, in day-to-day life. So now you can see how the picture all comes together because I'm figuring out these things and I'm changing them. They change me as a person. Figuring out why fear does that doesn't just change how I enter a position and hold it. It changes everything. There could have been fear that I experienced in day-to-day life in this one aspect. It's changed that because I now understand it. So to become profitable, you have to change who you are as a person. This happens automatically if you're doing the right things because of the consistency, day to day. That's how it starts to rewire how your brain works. The current state for everyone, no matter what it is not that of a profitable trader. It can't be, because none of us were born profitable traders. None of us were raised to be profitable since we were born. We were raised very simply in the way the world works, which is not based on probabilities, and it's very emotional. Both things that do not exist in trading. Trading is based on probabilities, and you don't want emotions involved. So essentially, it's the opposite. It's the opposite to normal day-to-day life, to the way the brain by default functions. And it's your job to change that in order to achieve success in trading. So those are just a couple factors. Obviously, if I was to start breaking down, all these would be hours and hours and hours and hours and hours long. I will eventually have something where I break down every single one of these factors in psychology and explain why they happen and how to change them, because this is something that I see the industry really needs. People really want this, so I will create it eventually. Obviously, at the moment, if you're interested in actually learning more of this stuff, I do cover them in the Discord. I have webinars, loads of them recorded, uploaded in there, 1 hour long, 1 hour plus for some of them. And yeah, I cover some of these topics in detail as well. So with that being said, that's just kind of a outlook on the current state of the industry. And if you see and notice some of these things going on yourself, and you also want to not kind of be trading within this area or bubble of confusion, if that makes sense, then yeah, pivot away from that. I mean, I myself like to think I'm quite a good influence in terms of the proper thing you should be focusing on while trading to become profitable. The serious side of trading, which should be the only side, realistically. It's unfortunate that it's not, but yeah, the serious side of trading and what it actually takes, because especially if you go back and look at my old videos from 2 years ago, etc., I was saying these things and you could see that I've now carried them out because I'm a completely different person. So yeah, doing all this, that's what it takes. Hopefully this video was helpful for you guys. If you're interested, Discord link in the description, and I'll see you all in the next video.